Here it is, my review of Happy Place. Okay, I'm just gonna get straight into it and say, yeah, this book was 5 stars, but no, it did not rank above Beach Read for me. I don't think anything will ever rank above Beach Read because that book is just so deeply personal to me. Unless Emily Henry somehow decides to write like a book about a Palestinian with OCD and intimacy issues and a terrible penchant for musicians, I think Beach Read will always stay number one. That being said, this book was really good, and I was worried going in that I wouldn't be able to connect with the characters because that was something that I struggled with book lovers. And just the way that Harriet was kind of described as a main character, I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to relate to her. But I did actually connect with both Harriet and Win. Harriet is a people pleaser who never learned how to deal with conflict with the people she loves, who's never really been able to deal with fights with people she loves, who always shrinks herself, says that she's fine, puts others first. And Win is someone who's never felt like he was good enough and uses flirtation and charm to kind of cover up the fact that he feels that way about himself, that feels, very lacking in self-confidence, has very low self-esteem. So in that sense, I think they're both deeply relatable characters. In terms of Emily Henry's other novels, I think this is far more like People We Meet on Vacation than Beach Read or Book Lovers. And I feel that way both thematically and structurally. Like in terms of themes, it's about a woman struggling between like the past and the present, struggling to feel fulfilled in her job, struggling with this like past love, with old friendships. And structurally, it flips back and forth between the past and present the way that People We Meet on Vacation does for about half the book. It's not like the whole time, but for like a solid chunk of it, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I personally love. You get to kind of watch these people fall in love, and then you get to watch them in the present day, and you get to see how well they fit together. I do also think this one felt more like a love story, a romance, than a work of women's fiction, whereas I feel like with Beach Read and Book Lovers, I do think the women's fiction was much stronger. So in that sense, I also think that it's more like People We Meet on Vacation, because in that book, I also felt like it was more about the relationship than like Poppy herself. It is still both. It's still romance and a work of women's fiction, but I do just feel that the romance was stronger in this story, and I think that's the kind of nature of a second chance romance with like dual timelines. The one thing this book had that I think the others don't is a really solid cast of friends. There's 3 couples total, Harriet and Win being one of them, and I think that the friendships are just really beautiful, and they're long-term. They're even longer than the main relationship. And this trip that they're on, being in Maine at this cottage for the last time, and the feelings and the tension that come with that, I think perfectly encapsulate the strain of getting older and trying to keep things as you are, trying to keep the friends in your life as you guys grow and drift apart. That I think was one of the most relatable aspects of this story for me. The whole book was written with Emily Henry's characteristic style and wit, and it felt like a warm hug at the end. I really loved it, and I cannot wait to read a physical copy.